Hey guys, welcome to the 6.8 Western Full Auto Podcast. So today, as you can see, I have a guest. This is Logan.
Hello, comrades.
And and what is the name of your channel?
I have mine is Jacob's Custom Gunworks. Most of the time when I have an intro, I have some Slavic accent, and I kind of just pick whatever the flavor of the day is. So fun.
Just for fun, right?
Just for fun.
Gotta have fun. So anyway, welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And
long time.
I'm sure we'll have quite a few things we can talk about.
Absolutely.
But first thing I wanted to, of course, I always got to touch on some 6.8 Western stuff since that's what this is all about. But we do talk about other things too. So this, like my picking up my new gun, it keeps getting pushed back a little bit, but I'm definitely going down to get it this Sunday. And of course, it's the Model 70 Super Grade in the AAA Maple in 6.8 Western, of course. And it's just a beauty. But just to give you a couple of high points of what this thing is, it's when they came back out with the Model 70 and started going back to the pre-64 action, and that's what they did with this. They kind of brought that back. It does come with the MOA trigger system, which some people don't like and some people do. They don't think it adjusts down far enough. I have, when I first started, I adjusted this down as far as it would go, and I got it down to 2.9 pounds. And now I fired it quite a few times actually, and so the triggers broke in a little bit, and I just tested it a couple days ago just to see where it was at, and it was down to 2.6 pounds pretty consistently. So it's crisp as possible. I mean, it's a really nice trigger, and it's 2.6, 2.7 is just fine for a hunting rifle, for me anyway. Backfire, Jim, he likes it a little lighter, and I just makes as light as that thing is, it just makes me, I'm happy where it's at. So let's just put it that way. So, and then if you saw my my video on the pulling the bullets on those on that Silver Series stuff right here, this Browning Silver Series, the powder charges in them, if you haven't seen it, they ranged from, I had one at 65 grains and another one at 64.2 grains. So that was a pretty wide spread. The other ones were between 64.7 and 64.4. So they not quite so bad. When I'm hand loading, if it's 0.2 off, I'll just dump it and start over. So I like to get them a little closer than that. That's for sure when hand loading. So, but anyway, that was what happened with that thing, and hopefully I'll use that brass and load up some LRXs. I've got some 145 grain ELDXs loaded up that I have to test. We don't have testing weather. It's been sub-zero and not the best. It's not just not a good time to test because you want your temperatures to be fairly stable anyway. So, but that's kind of all I got for the 6.8 Western. The other thing I wanted to talk about was some stuff that happened at SHOT Show. And one of the things that caught my eye was the new Athlon chronograph, which is basically just a clone of the Garmin. And you've used this.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did.
And they're fantastic. I mean, they run about $600. I did see somebody must have been maybe a Christmas thing or something, but they were on sale for $509. That's the cheapest I've ever seen. But so the Athlon one is called the Rangecraft Velocity Pro Radar Chronograph. So I mean, it's virtually the same as this. They moved a couple buttons down to the side on it, and it might have I don't even know what all its functionality is, but I imagine it's just about exactly like this. So they've changed it a little bit, just like you would. I don't even know if Garmin has this. What do you call that when you have to get something so that nobody can steal patent. That's what I'm thinking. anyway, so they must have changed it just enough so that they didn't have to run into any kind of legal issues. But anyway, so if you've been looking for one and you want to save some money, it says MSRP is $472, but I'm seeing where they could possibly be in the market for about $349, $350, something like that. So save yourself $150 if you want to try that out. So, and they will read up to 5,000 feet per second. So if you want to test out some of your 220 Swifts or something like that, and you're pushing them babies, it'll do it.
That's moving.
That's moving.
That's moving.
That is moving. So, and then another thing they talked about was annealing with the 80G. Has a new annealer called the ARC, and as I don't know if you saw my videos of how I anneal, it's pretty backwoods, but it works. And it didn't cost me hardly any money. So anyway, but if you want to do it the fancy way, and they have 5 different sensors, and that brass goes completely through the coils, the heater coils, and instead of having to pull it back out, and it's got 5 different sensors in there that measures the heat around the shoulder and the neck, and apparently does it just perfectly. So that was out there. Some other things that I don't know if you're familiar with this is when they manufacture a bolt action gun,
mm-hmm.
and Sammy says it's supposed to be like 65,000 psi.
Right.
From what I was listening to the Shoot to Hunt podcast, and they were talking about that stuff, and the guy that they had on, I think he was with Bat Machine. They're tested to 84,500 pounds.
So they exceed that.
So they exceed it by a long ways.
And I imagine the reason why they do that is for reloaders, exceeding that for that same reason.
Yep.
So you don't have essentially catastrophic failure.
Yep. So you can push that. I mean, basically your weak point would then be your primer pocket blowing out, or your brass cracking or something like that. But if you have good brass, like 80G is going to be making, well, they're making 6.8 Western brass now. So a guy should be able to, especially now that we're pushing, people are getting 20-inch barrels, and this 7mm backcountry is out, pushing those pressures up to 80,000. A lot of people, if they have good brass, you could probably push your loads up, I would guess, to 70,000 safely. Don't take my word on that. Just maybe you could. So anyway, but I thought that was interesting because I didn't know that. So you take your 65,000 times 1.3, and because they have the 30% over SAMI pressures testing, and that's what you come up with. So, and then just another fun thing, the Yeti coolers, if you're camping, and the soft pack sides are really expensive for what you get. But they were talking about a company called Mountainsmith, and they were actually started by the guy who does Kafuru. His last name was Smith. Patrick Smith, I think. But anyway, he sold this company, and they're getting back into more kind of hunting stuff. And anyway, they've got a nice cooler that works pretty well for 2 or 3 days, and it's a soft pack like that, can hold up to 24 cans for $55. So if you're looking for something like that, that's another one. And Altera Arms has come out with a stock that, instead of having a folding stock for your hunting rifle, it's a standard looking stock, but it's got a mortise and tendon joint in it, and you can pull the buttstock out, and it connects to your receiver area magnetically, and so you can shorten that up to put in your pack and stuff. So I thought that was kind of an interesting idea too. But and then getting into something that I thought was probably one of the most innovative things I've seen. I haven't seen anybody else do it. We got side chargers now, and we got, of course, the old rear charging on your ARs that we're all kind of becoming accustomed to. Bear Creek Arsenal puts out those side charging ones, but this one is from I saw it on the Gun Badassery channel, and it's Bilson Arms, and they have a pump action charging system, and that is really cool. I like that. It'd be quick. Your hands are in the right place all the time. What did you think about it when you looked at it?
So when you sent me that information, I was really intrigued at first. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was a pump action conversion, which I've seen. If I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was an Australian company that kind of come up with that idea for their rules and regulations and whatnot. But then I of course watched the video and got into it, and it's a essentially your charging system. So I kind of went, okay, let's watch this video. So I watch it, and the individual that's shooting purposely put some underloaded rounds in there. And of course, now you can, instead of reaching back to grab your charging handle or moving it to the side like an AK, now you just essentially just grab it up front, pull it back. So I went, okay, now you have me interested. I think there's going to be a lot of advantages, but I do see some disadvantages. The advantages being is generally in a pump action style, you have more force. So if you do have to clear a jam, I think you're going to be able to do it much easier versus trying to grab, of course, your charging handle like you'd see in most AR platforms. But the other,
especially if you have to mortar one out.
Absolutely, which I have had to do more than once.
Yeah.
But if you're running subsonic ammunition, I was really thinking about this. If you're running subsonics and you want to save your brass, like you reload, of course, and you're looking to keep it in the best scenario, or maybe you're in an area where you just have to police everything, yeah, that would be absolutely great. Granted, it's going to be a single shot, but it's a lot easier to run a pump action than again to your charging handle.
Yep.
The downside that I saw was, and this may or may not be a big deal for some, but attaching anything to that up front, as far as like a vertical grip or anything, that's probably not going to be a thing as of this.
It would have to be farther out,
right? Which I'm not a very big guy, as you can see, but trying to do this probably not going to work for guys of my stature.
Yeah,
but it's got a lot of positives. The other thing I think is it looks like it's a proprietary receiver for the upper, because of course your charging handle is gone. I'm going to take a stab in the dark, so to speak, but I assume you can use whatever barrel. Your gas system has to be a little different because of the way that is. So I'm interested to see that. And the other downer that I saw was I didn't see a price point.
Yeah.
I would really love to know what this is going to run the average guy and what barrel lengths are available.
Right.
Because what I saw, and again, go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw the carbine length or maybe even a rifle length during the videos. But yeah, I didn't see anything else. But a plethora of calibers they plan to offer: 300 blackout, 6.5 Grendel, 6mm arc, Force 5.56. I mean, it's got a lot of cool potential.
Anything that runs in the AR-15 platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was pretty interesting. I like that. So I'm hoping to see one someday, but I'd probably have to go to SHOT Show to do it, and I probably won't be making it to that. But,
let me know when you go. I'll go with you.
But and then Federal, speaking of reloading, Federal does have a video out on how to reload that 7mm backcountry, and the important thing was that you need to use the nickel-plated brass or nickel-plated steel case. That they said make sure you use the shiny stuff, because they ran it through. They didn't. I heard rumors that you might have to run it through the sizing die a dozen times or something like that, and they just punched her through one time and she was good to go, just like pretty much any operation using brass. So I was really surprised. They don't have dies out for the public yet, but as far as they said, but we'll I'm sure they'll be coming soon, and that's pretty much what I've got here as far as what I was going to talk about for SHOT Show. What do you got?
I actually do have some in my arsenal bag of tricks. In the AK platform, which, I'm a huge supporter of the AK platform, and not so much an AK platform, but again, most of us AK crowd, we do pander this, but there's a Texas company that is planning on releasing the SVD Dragunov in the United States. And those of us that know and have been following for years and years, to find an original Russian or even the FEG import, they're tens of thousands of dollars. Again, I'm going to ballpark this price, so don't go too crazy, but I want to say an 86 original Russian was upwards of 30 grand or more, depending on condition and things of that. The FEG one was supposed to start coming into the States under 10 grand. It's rapidly approaching that price, and it is becoming what I like to call unobtainium. It is hard to find. It is out there. It's just hard to find. But this Texas company came out, and it sounds like they were going to be about the 6 grand ballpark. If you guys are watching this Texas company, please do not go nuts with the price, because the rest of us in the AK community that have been looking for this unobtainable object forever are going nuts with this idea. That was the first one that I saw that I was really excited for. The second one was the VSS, the Ventores clone that I saw. They didn't have a functional one at SHOT, but they did have a couple of different models out there. And this is another unobtainium gun that we've had in the States. Of course, and it's a very obscure caliber, 9x39. Hopefully they'll maybe make it in 300 Blackout and some other calibers. That's kind of what I got from SHOT. But again, another gun that I like to call unobtainium. It's just something you don't see in the States, and those of us in the AK crowd are just going nuts over this idea. That particular firearm I'm even more interested in the fact that there has been several different companies that have said over the years, yeah, we're going to make this, and where are they at?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two biggest ones in the AK crowd that I saw. PSA is another supporter that I like to shout out to. They're making some really cool designs with different firearms. They brought some stuff back from SHOT from last year, and of course they had a pull out before SHOT saying, what would you like to see? And they have a plethora of things that I'm really excited to see. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's good to hear that. When the public talks or is clamoring for something, that somebody's out there trying to meet their needs, basically.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how about we bring out your other little prize?
So I did a video on this. I'll be right back. And I did a video on this last week.
Yeah, it was just about a week ago, I think.
I'm going to make my best to not flag anybody. This is a Mauser broom handle pistol, and I don't have a date code on this. This would be what we would call post-war, and the biggest difference is going to be the shorter barrel. This has been converted. This was what we call 7.63 Mauser or 30 Mauser. This is now 9mm, as you can see with the red 9. The gun is not loaded. I'm going to clear it real quick just to show. And this is really weird to do with the left hand. There we go. A little 10-shot box internal magazine, and it is loaded with stripper clips. I, again, have gone over this in my video, but this is a riot to shoot. And Steve said, please bring this to the show. I said, absolutely. So I'm going to hand it over to him so he can look at it.
There you are, I don't even know what I'm looking at, to be honest. This is a little out of my wheelhouse. But it's got a windage. It's got a
very optimistic sight elevation out to 1,000 meters, and good luck shooting a 9mm cartridge out of a 3.9-inch barrel to that. But you would have a shoulder stock with some of these.
Oh, right.
And of course, you can attach that, and that would make the platform a little more stable. Those of you that are video game nerds like me will recognize this from Resident Evil 4, both the remake and the newer version, but that is why I own the gun, is because I'm a video game nerd. I'm super happy that I found it. It's been a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I got it back when I had the barrel redone, and I just had catastrophic failures after that, and I'm not going to get into that drama because it is an entire session of drama, but since then, it's just fun, and like I said, I figured I'd share that with you. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that old vintage stuff. So you can still see the Mauser.
Yep, the Mauser engraving is still visible.
Yeah.
There's some pitting on the gun, like you can see, but for what it is, it's in fantastic shape.
Yeah, for sure.
It really is. I hypothesize, and I could be terribly wrong, but the previous owner that had these, and I showed this in my video, the grips, where you see all the nice little stifling here, or not stifling, excuse me, the nice little grooves, they were worn flat, so it got carried for quite a while. Whether or not it got used, maybe, but it got carried for quite a while.
I'm sure it got used because, like I said, it's fun to shoot.
Oh, man. It's a lot of fun to shoot. Every time you bring something historical like this to a shooting range anywhere, everybody goes nuts. Oh, what is that? I gotta shoot it. So bring extra ammo.
And then it's got the barrel that kind of.
Yeah, so it does have a short recoil system, a reciprocating system. I'll go ahead and close it so I can show you. Just because it is empty, there's nothing in there. So to close this, you'll almost get M1 bite if you're not careful, but it does have a short recoiling system, and I'm going to push on the barrel just to show you. You can hear that. So actually, when you fire the round, it actually moves back. The whole system up top moves back slightly, and of course, you'll have the bolt come back and eject the round and get the next round in there, but it's really neat. This was way ahead of its time for what it is.
No kidding.
Really ahead of its time for what it is, and it's just a neat firearm to have in my collection. I'm really skittish about shooting it anymore because parts are super rare. these were hand fit for the most part. These weren't made by a machine like we have today. So
Right.
getting some of these pieces and parts, 99% of the time you're going to hand fit them all.
Yeah.
You just are. And I did too. This entire inside in here has been rebuilt. I had issues where I had worn parts. Again, hours and hours and hours of sanding with 100 grit, 1,000 grit, 4,000 grit sandpaper just to get everything to fit
Yeah.
precisely. It's neat. It really is.
Yep, it is. Good job on that.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. That is awesome. Well, guys, that's what I got for you in this video, and this is episode number 6, I think. And I'm losing track already. Yeah. Too many, not enough fingers, maybe. But anyway, that's what I got for you this time, and we'll come up with something good for the next time. And by then, I should have that AAA maple sitting back here. And this one is going to be obviously a gift. It's going to be a gift to my son, who he is the one that basically brought the 6.8 Western to my attention. And then, of course, Reloading Weatherby and Hopeful Ballistics, they did their videos on it, and you know, it just got me fired up. So I'm excited to try my hand loads and see what this thing can do in a 20-inch barrel before I hand it off, and then we'll see what that can do out of my AAA maple with a 24-inch barrel, and see how that thing shoots. So anyway, that's what I got for you, and thanks for joining me on the 6.8 Western Full Auto podcast. We'll see you next time.
Until next time, comrades.
Thank you, Logan.